The heart sets us apart. It beats and ticks, and over the years it's taken a few licks. But your heart doesn't just beat for you, beats for your friends and family and your grandson Drew. So let's make it stronger, 'cause a healthy heart loves longer.
Every heart deserves a specialist. Find yours at Dignity Health St. Rose Dominican Hospitals. Hello, human kindness.
License number NSCB 79415 0079414.
Wacky Zacky,
Yeah?
do you know what time it is?
Look at your cell phone.
It's time for rejuvenation.
What?
Air conditioners work 24/7,
Uh-huh.
and rejuvenation brings them back to life, all rosy-cheeked, and it puts a spring in their step.
Well, so what's the benefit of rosy cheeks and a springy step?
Your AC will cool better, last longer, and use less energy.
You gonna clean my outside coils
The right way, not the easy way.
and make all 6 critical adjustments?
Of course, we never do anything halfway.
What's this rejuve thing gonna cost me?
$129, but you're not saying it right.
How am I supposed to say it?
Rejuvenation.
If I say it wrong, you'll still come over and do it?
Sure,
GOETTL.
but it would be better if you said it right.
We do things well, but Kenny's crazy as, well...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the program. Today, we're going to jump in, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Leon Black, the nuclear fallout that is raining down all over him over his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and the Museum of Modern Art and their decision about whether to keep Leon Black on or to demand that he resigns. Now, from where I'm sitting, this man should have been forced out quite some time ago, especially considering the news of the $158 million paid to Jeffrey Epstein. That should have been enough for any one of these trustees to step in and say, yeah, Leon Black probably shouldn't be a representative of what we have going on here. Doesn't look good, the optics are bad, and he needs to go and clear this up. He should go speak to the authorities. He should do whatever it is that he needs to do to clear this up. But no. Guy's still sitting there as the chairman. There hasn't been a true forceful push yet to get him out, but that looks to be changing, as we're going to discuss in our article today. Leon Black and Jeffrey Epstein had quite the extensive relationship, folks. Now again, I'll be very clear. I haven't seen one bit of evidence that points to Leon Black abusing girls with Jeffrey Epstein. That's certainly not the assertion I am making here. My point is, and what I'm talking about, is their financial connections and the fact that Leon Black helped enable Jeffrey Epstein's behavior. So he needs to answer for that. I just want to be clear that we're not talking about him being part of the actual abuse, like some of these other scumbags like Glenn Dubin or Bill Richardson or insert dirtbag here. Now, we always talk about how there's layers to this, right? And different levels to it. And when it comes to enablers and people who were feeding money into the pipeline, there aren't many folks involved with Epstein that had more of an impact than Leon Black. And the evidence has proven that. $158 million for advice, folks? And he's surrounded by all of these super smart people? Let me ask you a question. If Jeffrey Epstein was so good at what he did, then why would Leon Black not advise Joshua Harris or Mark Rowan or any of his other good friends to use Jeffrey's services? Why would he just keep Jeffrey Epstein all to himself if Jeffrey Epstein was this great financial whiz? Well, I think that there's a lot more to it than just getting paid for his advice. Now, we still have to continue to dig and try and tie all of that stuff together, right? And it certainly is a gigantic puzzle, considering how they use the LLCs to wash the money and move the money and hide the money. It's certainly going to be quite the investigation. But all of the evidence seems to be there, and it's relatively clear to me that Leon Black was moving money to Jeffrey Epstein through LLCs that were set up for no other purpose than to launder money. That's certainly the way it looks. And when you're dealing with somebody like Leon Black, who is such a highly placed figure within the financial sector, you start to ask yourself some really serious questions, such as, if Leon Black is involved in this kind of shit, I wonder who else is. And you don't have to look far. All you have to do is take a look at any of these day traders or hedge fund managers and look at all the times that they've been clipped for financial malfeasance. But the funny thing is, every single time it happens, they just get a fine, right? They don't go to prison. There's no prosecution. There's no felony on their record. None of that stuff. And Leon Black certainly is no different. Leon Black is one of the kings of that. One of the kings of coming out unmarred. And his company, Apollo Global, it's a group of vultures, right? They pick the bones clear off of corpses. They go in and they take over these companies that are struggling, and they pick the bones clean. So when we're dealing with people like Leon Black, folks, we are not dealing with decent human beings, in my opinion, or people who really care about anything, honestly, besides increasing their own wealth and their own prestige. So let's jump into this article today from the Daily Mail, and let's see what the authors, Keith Griffith and Valerie Edwards, have to say about the Museum of Modern Art and the trustees coming forward to try and remove Leon Black. This article is from the Daily Mail, and the headline, Trustees at NYC's Museum of Modern Art ask billionaire investor Leon Black to quit as board chairman over ties to Epstein. Fears it could jeopardize access to his personal art collection. That includes Edvard Munch's The Scream. I'll tell you what, if I have to hear about this stupid-ass painting, Edvard Munch's The Scream, one more time, I'm going to put my head through the wall. Nobody cares if you lose access to your art collection. What are you, 12? What are you, mommy's little art work on the refrigerator? Give me a break, okay? Nobody cares about your first world problems of not being able to access my art collection. I can't go and stare at the Edvard Munch picture. Nobody cares, Leon Black. What were you really doing with Jeffrey Epstein? $158 million for advice? My ass. Several trustees at the Museum of Modern Art in New York have reportedly asked billionaire financier Leon Black to step down as chairman over his ties to sex predator, pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein. Well, you would think that that's something that would be asked for, right? Why in the hell would somebody not ask for this guy to step down? It's not like he came out and was honest about his relationship with Epstein. It's not like he came out and was, upfront about things. He hid things. And it took a whole entire report, half-assed report at that, to even put any of it into the public view. So nobody's listening to you, Leon Black. Nobody thinks that you're a good face for the organization, except for the people whose pockets you're filling up. Numerous trustees have approached Black, who in January resigned from the investment fund he co-founded, about stepping down at MoMA when his term as chairman ends on July 1st, the New York Post reported. And look, that would coincide with when he's supposed to step down from his position at Apollo Global, right? A little bit earlier than that, but it would make sense for him to step down from all of these positions at once. I mean, if he has to step down from Apollo Global, why should he be sticking around at MoMA? However, if Black left the 50-member board altogether, the museum's access to his priceless art collection could be jeopardized. And there you see the rub, folks. There's the real problem. How dare anyone suggest that they don't have access to Leon Black's art collection? And Leon Black, for his part, he's like the kid who has the basketball, who shows up to the court, and he has the only ball, but shit don't go his way, so he's like, you know what, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. That's the kind of dude Leon Black is, right? He's so self-serving, he only cares about himself, and you better believe if they kicked him off the board here, he wouldn't give them access to his art collection. You can no longer see my art collection, ha 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 ha, as he swims around in his money like Scrooge McDuck. Black owns a version of Edvard Munch's The Scream, for which he paid $120 million, as well as the Raphael drawing Head of a Young Apostle, which Black bought for a record $47.9 million. Boy, must be nice, huh? $47.9 million for a piece of art? And this guy's talking about how, oh yeah, I'm going to give $200 million to groups of for battered women and domestic violence, and yeah, okay, whatever you say, pal. Whatever you say, pal. I mean, I don't know how anyone could read about people like Leon Black and just not be disgusted. He's just a disgusting individual. He's like the quintessential bad guy in every movie, right? In every single financial movie. Gordon Gekko, Jordan Belfort, that kind of guy. It comes after a law firm investigation revealed that Black paid Epstein $158 million, folks, not 148, in advisory fees after his 2000 arrest in Florida for soliciting a minor for prostitution. Can you imagine? This guy soliciting minors for prostitution that's his best foot forward. Okay, we all know it was a lot more than that. Minors can't be prostitutes to start, but we know that his crimes were much more than that. And Leon Black knew. All right, you tell me this guy, one of the smartest, supposedly richest men in the world, had no idea what Jeffrey Epstein was or what he was up to? Guy never read the paper? Guy never picked up, the New York Post or anything? I call bullshit. The probe did not uncover evidence that Black participated in Epstein's deviant schemes, which including trafficking dozens of girls as young as 14 for sex. But the connection drew criticism of MoMA for allowing him to continue as chairman, as it should. I mean, what do people really think that this group shouldn't have to answer questions why this guy is still on the board? If it was close enough, the relationship with Epstein, to have him step down from Apollo, you would think that some silly-ass art group would have him step down as well. But again, how dare you suggest that they lose access to his art collection? Give me a break already. Prominent artists, including Ah Wee Wee and photographer Nan Golden, have said that they will refuse to allow MoMA to show their work if Black continues on as chairman. Now, this is the right way to do it. If you're an artist or you have some art that is supposedly going to be shown in MoMA, that's how you get things to change. As one of the artists, somebody participating, these people only understand in dollar signs, folks. Unfortunately, they don't understand anything else. So as an artist, if you say, look, I refuse to put my work at your facility until you get rid of Leon Black, then that could definitely move the needle. Because I say it all the time. You have to, the insiders are the ones that can really enact change. They're the ones that are on the inside. They're the ones who know what's going on. And they're the ones that can really force the issue. So when artists like this start talking about not putting their artwork there, that can only be a good thing. I would feel ashamed to be associated with the MoMA if it takes a firm position in keeping someone who has been confirmed to have hurt basic values or has worked against truth and fairness, I told the New York Times. If so, I hope they won't include any of my works in their collection. And I think that should be the stance taken by a lot more artists, right? Because I think there's a big problem in the art world, folks, and we have only scratched the surface here. We've talked a lot about the financials. And we've talked a lot about, that sort of thing in the art world. But there is a underlying current of abuse and exploitation that takes place in this art world, and it certainly deserves a deeper dive at some point. In January, Apollo Global Management, the fund Black co-founded, announced that he would step down after an internal investigation. Apollo said it found no evidence that Black was guilty of any wrongdoings in his past relationship with Epstein, who died behind bars in 2019 in what was ruled a suicide. Allegedly. So if there was nothing there, right, and there was nothing to worry about, and there was no smoke, no fire, none of it, why is Leon Black stepping down from the company that he founded, his baby, his most important creation? Why would he step down if there's nothing there? Or did the report find a little bit more than they let on, and what did they conceal? Now, I have no evidence that occurred, obviously, but unfortunately, like everything else in this case, it's hard to take anything at face value. The findings of the report are consistent with the statements made by Mr. Black and Apollo regarding the prior relationship, the company said. The probe, which was conducted by law firm Deckert, found no evidence that Mr. Black was involved in any way with Mr. Epstein's criminal activities at any time. So, financially as well, huh? You guys dug deep. You guys really dug deep into those financials, did you? You checked out everything down at Limited and all the different shell companies. I'm guessing that Deckert just did a fantastic job. Said nobody ever. Give me a break. This was a cover piece. That's what this was, a cover piece. Oh, we did a report. Look at us. We're doing something. Meanwhile, we know that this goes much, much deeper. However, the investigation did find that Black paid Epstein $148 million in advisory fees and donated $10 million to Epstein's charity, though it was previously reported that Black transferred between $50 million and $75 million to Epstein for professional services. So how did the other $100 million or so pop up? That was just, hiding around on the back shelf, the receipts for that? None of it makes sense. And they want you to believe that it's just all coincidence. They want you to believe that it's just all, obviously, these people just made a couple of mistakes along the way. Meanwhile, when you look at the whole entire puzzle, you realize there is something much more sinister going on here. Black accounted for 85% of the fees paid to Epstein at his Southern Trust Company following his 2008 conviction through his arrest in July 2019 on federal sex trafficking charges. And we know that Southern Trust is a front company, and Denise George has basically said the same exact thing. So why was Leon Black sending money through a front company? Why not just send it to the regular bank? Why not just do it through the right, proper channels? The findings were revealed Thursday, just months after Black requested the company's conflicts committee to retain outside counsel to conduct an independent and thorough review. The committee retained Deckert, which found that Apollo never retained Epstein for any services, and Epstein never invested in any Apollo-managed funds that we know of. How do we know he didn't invest in a different name? Did Indike invest? Did Khan? How about Sarah Kellen Vickers or Marchenko? Or should I keep going? In addition to that finding, Deckert said that Epstein regularly advised Mr. Black on trust and estate planning, tax issues, philanthropic endeavors, and the operation of his family office. And all fees paid to Mr. Epstein by Mr. Black or his family office were for bona fide tax, estate planning, and other related services, and the amounts were intended to be proportional to the value provided by Mr. Epstein. And they try and use all of these fancy words and all of that stuff. The value proportionate to Mr. Epstein. No, sorry, no one's advice is worth $158 million, folks, okay? Especially when you're Leon Black and you have access to the smartest people in the world. Why are you going off of the reservation to bring in someone like Jeffrey Epstein? I'll let you folks stew on that for a minute, and I'll let you folks come to your own conclusions. But the evidence certainly points to some pretty damning stuff. Last year, Black denied allegations that Epstein blackmailed him for millions of dollars over the last decade, saying such claims were categorically untrue. Well, who knows, right? Who really knows why Jeffrey Epstein was getting all of this money from Leon Black? Could it be from blackmail? Absolutely. Nobody really knows. And anybody who is sitting here making pretend that they know or telling you for sure one way or the other, well, they're lying to you. Because we all have the same information available to us, right? And it certainly looks like Leon Black has some explaining to do. Edvard Munch's... Several investors in Apollo funds expressed concerns as much of the payments to Epstein came after his 2008 conviction for procuring an underage girl for prostitution and of soliciting a prostitute. Again, there's no such thing as an underage prostitute, okay? What you were doing is trying to have sex with a minor. Just let's be honest about what Epstein's pursuits were. Let me be clear. There has never been any allegation by anyone that I engaged in any wrongdoing, because I did not, said Black. Any suggestion of blackmail or any other connection to Epstein's reprehensible conduct is categorically untrue. Oh, now it's reprehensible, huh? Were you saying that while you guys were sitting down having $400 steaks? Were you saying that while you guys were drinking your wine or whatever it was you were doing when you were breaking bread? You hypocritical bastard. And now, here at the end of the article... It's one of those nice little blue jams that Daily Mail likes to add to their articles. And this is about Edvard Munch's The Scream. The Scream is the popular name given to each of 5 versions of a composition created by the expressionist artist Edvard Munch between 1893 and 1910. The German title Munch gave these works is Der Schrei der Natur, the Scream of Nature. The works show a figure with an agonized expression against a landscape with a swirling orange sky. I bet you Leon Black kind of looks like that right now when he sees the whole world crumbling in around him. Edvard Munch created the 5 versions in various media, including paint and pastel. It is estimated that each composition is worth over £110 million. Some say it was a volcanic sunset after the 1883 Krakatoa eruption, which others think the wavy skies show a scream from nature. The first version of the Scream was released in 1893. It depicts a dark human-like figure clutching its head in apparent horror against the backdrop of a swirling red-orange sky. There are several known versions of the Scream. An 1893 tempera on cardboard, an 1893 crayon on cardboard, an 1895 pastel on cardboard that a billionaire Leon Black bought for nearly $120 million at auction, and a tempera on hard cardboard thought to have been painted in 1910. The two-tone lithograph was created in 1895 and is the version that was displayed in Britain in 2019. So that gives you a little bit of an idea about what this stupid-ass painting is and, you know, what the big deal about it is, I guess. I guess I'm just a brute or some sort of barbarian because art's never really moved the needle for me, folks, like paintings and stuff like that. I never really understood why they're so expensive, if I'm being honest. So I'll never understand that world and spending money on that sort of thing. But what I will say is this. Leon Black has no business sitting on the board of MoMA if he's not even going to be sitting on the board of Apollo, the company he founded. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at Bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. As for me, I'll be back later on, and we will pick up where we left off. Have a great day, everyone.
Interested in working on Alaska's North Slope or putting your cooking skills to use in America's last frontier? Come check out job opportunities in Alaska with NMS, Alaska's leading facilities and food services provider. NMS has opportunities for cooks, security officers, and maintenance throughout Alaska. You will receive excellent pay, benefits, and the opportunity for advancement and promotion. And all new employees receive a signing bonus. Find your next career opportunity at nmsusa.com and apply online today.
The heart sets us apart. It beats and ticks, and over the years it's taken a few licks. But your heart doesn't just beat for you, it beats for your friends and family and your grandson Drew. So let's make it stronger, 'cause a healthy heart loves longer.
Every heart deserves a specialist. Find yours at Dignity Health St. Rose Dominican Hospitals. Hello, human kindness.